Tonight, crucial new evidence in the manhunt for the suspect in the targeted killing of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson. This backpack, found in Central Park after air and ground searches, police believe is linked to the shooter seen in surveillance video. Two senior law enforcement officials say no gun was found inside. What was found? A jacket and Monopoly money. The NYPD says nothing in their investigation so far suggests the killing was related to Thompson's personal life.
The net is tightening, and we're going to bring this person to justice.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams says details like whether or not police have an ID on the shooter are being closely held.
We don't want to release that now. If you do, you're basically giving a tip to the person we're seeking, and we do not want to give him an upper hand at all.
What do you mean? You already shown his pictures, you already know his crime, you already know all over the media that he is being pursued, so you already gave him a tip.
But there are new details about the suspect. New York City's chief of detectives providing a timeline based on video footage to reporters. The shooter arrived in New York on Sunday, November 24th, and was caught on camera at the Port Authority bus terminal near Times Square. The bus he took originated in Atlanta, though it's not clear when the shooter got on, given that there were several stops on the way to New York. The shooter then took a taxi to the area where the shooting occurred. It was there for about a half hour before heading to a hostel on the Upper West Side where he possibly provided a fake ID to check in. He checked out of the hostel on Friday, November 29th, but checked back in the next day.
Yeah, I think the shooter is not a professional at all. He makes many mistakes during this manhunt, so he's probably gonna get found and get pursued, get put in jail probably very soon.
The hostel, the suspect had two roommates who say he kept his mask on even when eating, lowering it only when taking a bite of food. And according to a senior law enforcement official, in this one moment upon his initial arrival when flirting with a woman who worked at the front desk. The shooter left the hostel at 5:30 a.m. the morning of the shooting. After the shooting, traveling by bike up to Central Park, then by taxi further uptown to a bus terminal where police believe he boarded a bus out of New York City. And from there, the trail goes cold. So he comes up over here and comes in on this part of the Port Authority. That's where the NYPD last sees him. But he could be right up here and over the George Washington Bridge and out of town on a bus pretty easily.
Absolutely, Tom. By going into this Port Authority terminal, there's nothing binding that states he needs to be in there and catch a bus. So he can be over the bridge and in the wind, and we won't know it.
Darren Porcher is a former lieutenant with the NYPD.
Yeah, it's very easy to escape the scene, right? If nobody was there, nobody was alerted at the time, then you can simply take a bus or take a car or take a taxi or take a Uber or anything and then leave the city right there. If there's no police around, unfortunately, it's very easy to escape. But now that people have his picture and have his backpack found, there's probably gonna be footprint all over the place that they can retrace to him.
You're looking up at a camera, or you're looking over here at a camera on the side of a store. Walk me through the process.
This is a very unique area. We have a lot of hustle and bustle. We have far more cameras in a place like this based on the dense population as well as the commercial properties that are here.
Police are now investigating if the weapon may be a veterinary gun used to put down animals.
This is a very rare weapon. In essence, this is a needle in a haystack, but we have a lot of needles in this one haystack, which works in our favor in law enforcement to apprehend this violent assailant that's on the streets.
Police also clarified the detail about words written on shell casings, saying they were depose, delay, and deny, written in Sharpie, one word.
Yeah, this seems like a personal vendetta to me. People were not happy with the medical claim denial from the UnitedHealthcare, and so they probably hired someone to take care of it. But I'm not sure if it's gonna solve this issue in the long term. People need medical care, they need health care, they need affordable health care, and getting rid of someone, the head of the company, is probably gonna get replaced with someone who has a stream strategy overall, so it's probably not a great idea to do that for the long-term solution.
On each shell casing, a possible reference to frustration with the health insurance industry.
And Tom joins me now from where that shooting occurred on Wednesday. Tom, the investigation in this case now well beyond New York City.
Oh, that's right, Jose. The NYPD sending its detectives to Georgia, officials say. The Atlanta Police Department says they're going to assist them. Back here in New York City tonight, investigators are out in Central Park looking for more evidence and trying to find that gun. Jose?
Thanks for watching.
Okay, let's watch the next report on this issue. Maybe they have some more clue to show us.
Killer of the healthcare insurance CEO. Tom Winter shows us what police found inside what they believe to be the shooter's backpack.
Tonight, crucial new evidence in the manhunt for the suspect in the targeted killing of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson. This backpack, found in Central Park after air and ground searches, police believe is linked to the shooter seen in surveillance video. Two senior law enforcement officials say no gun was found inside. What was found? A jacket and Monopoly money. The NYPD says nothing in their investigation so far suggests the killing was related to Thompson's personal life.
The net is tightening, and we're going to bring this person to justice.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams says details like whether or not police have an ID on the shooter are being closely held.
We don't want to release that now. If you do...
All right. So this is probably the same information that we saw just last time. So let's look at the next one.
We're now going to turn to former Assistant Director for Counterintelligence at the FBI and MSNBC Senior National Security Analyst Frank Figliuzzi. Frank, so earlier today, we just heard Mayor Adams suggest that they actually do know the suspect's name, but they don't want to release it because they don't want to tip him off. What is your take on that? Is that a good call? And what do you think is next for this investigation that now seems to be expanding far beyond New York?
Hi, Christina. I'm so glad that you're focusing on this. I've read the transcript of Mayor Adams' comments today twice now, and they're perplexing. They're perplexing because he's essentially saying, we know this guy's name, but we don't want him to know that we know his name, so we're not going to say his name because we think that would give him an advantage. Well, what Mayor Adams has essentially said today is, we have his name, and he's told the suspect, we have your name.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they have his name, probably not. Probably yes, probably not. We don't know. They have a suspect. They maybe have a suspect, but they are not sure yet if it's him or not.
Advantage to tell you that we have your name. So he's given him the tactical advantage. So this is a head scratcher for me. And I have to tell you, I'm a big believer in crowdsourcing crime solving. The more you know, unless there are overriding tactical reasons, you should be sharing. And if they have his name, that means they have all kinds of photos of him that come with knowing someone's name. A driver's license, social media photos, employment access badge photo. That's there. So if they don't lay hands on him very soon, you're going to see the photos come out that are crystal clear and could be matched using facial recognition. So this idea of not giving him an advantage by not saying his name is telling him you have his name. So where we go from here, I think they're very close. Look, you've got everything from DNA to perhaps partial fingerprints. There's probably a treasure trove perhaps in that backpack that was recovered. And quite honestly, this guy's been missing now for about 2 weeks. His friends, his relatives, his coworkers, they know he's missing. They know he's been leaking his grievances about this insurance company. And someone is talking to the police at this point.
Well, and also, I mean, we may not know his.
Yeah, I think he's probably hiding somewhere. I think the shooter is probably hiding in some place safe. He's probably gonna stay away from public life for a couple of weeks, at least a couple of months, so people don't find him easily. We will see if they are able to catch him very soon or not.
Name, and we may not know who that guy is in the picture, but if you know that guy, you know who he is by that picture. That is a recognizable face if that's someone you're familiar with. You mentioned the backpack that they picked up in Central Park. I want to ask you about that because it was taken to an NYPD crime lab, for inspection. What evidence are investigators hoping to get? How long do those results usually take? And when do you think they're going to let the public know what they found?
So over the course of the last few years, forensic science has advanced exponentially. The ability to pull DNA off of items like this, you can actually find a match and develop a profile for DNA in an hour. That's astronomically fast.
Yeah, I agree. if they found the backpack, they are gonna find some DNA all over this place, maybe some footprint, and they are able to find him very quickly, I think, or find who it is and who he is exactly. But then they have to find where he is hiding, and that's some other problem will probably emerge in this.
Same goes for latent fingerprints if there's anything on there. But hey, in an ideal world, maybe that backpack contains some writing. Maybe he's telling us why he did this. Maybe there's an ID in there. Maybe there's even hair and fiber. They will be.
Probably not. I don't think he's that dumb to leave all of these clues in his backpack. I'm not sure about that. I don't think so.
Going over that in the laboratory all day and all night until they totally exploit that forensically.
Given everything we've just talked about, they have his face, they say they have his name, even though they're not releasing it to the public. They know, it seems they seem to know how he left New York City. Do you think they know where he is, or is it just a matter of the U.S. is a very large country and there's a lot of places that you could be, tucking away in for a couple weeks? Yeah,
I don't think they know where he is yet. They're probably not even sure if it's him or not. They're probably looking for someone, and I'm sure they're looking all over the place, probably between New York and Atlanta, but I'm not sure if they know where he is. If they knew where he was, they probably would have already catched him, right?
So I think there's the very fact that they've got detectives on the ground in Atlanta is intriguing. We know that Greyhound bus route at least started in Atlanta, but it's notable that we aren't hearing that there are detectives on the ground in other locations. There's at least a dozen stops for that bus on the route all the way up to New York, but yet we're hearing they're in Atlanta. I think that's significant. And again, the state of facial recognition in our country is really advanced. And so the ability to match some known photo, again, once you've got a guy's identity, you put him in your facial recognition system, it's going to come up. It could be a photo on Facebook from a birthday party, but he's going to come up. So that, I think, indicates they're much closer to a location.
This is always a constant fear of mine, Facebook photos being, searched by the police. But listen, the NYPD says it's received hundreds of tips from the public, and they're encouraging anyone with information that they think could lead to finding the killer to contact them. They're offering $10,000 as a reward, and they're getting more than triple the amount of tips for this kind of case. Is the department really equipped to deal with that many tips, running those down, sorting out the people who just want to be involved from the people who actually might know something? How do you do that? And do they have the capacity to filter through all of that and find what useful information might be there?
Yeah, I think they are very competent, and I think they will find him at some point. I think they have all the tools they need to find him. It's only a matter of time, I believe. And 50K reward is kind of a great incentive for people to find him themselves and get some money in the process.
Yeah, latest information I have is that the FBI is now involved and has added $50,000 in reward money to that. What's the significance of the FBI involvement? That capacity to handle thousands of tips through a tip line. That technology is there. The human resources are there at the FBI. And now they're looking for matches. So those people who answer the phones or the emails on a tip line, they're saying, hey, look, if you get anything that has to do with Atlanta or whatever the detectives have developed, that goes to the top of the pile running down. And keep in mind, there's also close coordination at UnitedHealthcare corporate security going over all of the complaint letters, the threatening emails, the phone calls. All of those are kept in a file, so they're looking to cross-reference with those threats.
All right, that was very interesting to watch. Hopefully they will catch him soon and we will learn more about this case and what was exactly the motivation behind it. I think the motivation was, of course, the medical claim denial, but we will see if it's true or not in the future. Thanks for watching and staying with me to the end. Really appreciate it. Click right there to watch the next video, guys, and I will see you there. Bye-bye.